Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, and we are here for the live Champions League draw, and I cannot wait. We will be joined by Jack very, very shortly. We'll be going through the pots, and we'll be discussing what's the worst case scenario, what's the best case scenario, and we want to know from all of you guys as well what your best and worst case scenario is in this draw. And as we're going along with the draw, we will be putting the teams into groups as well, so you'll see that while we're doing that here live. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been listening to the Champions League team song all day today, and I am absolutely loving it. Arsenal fans, you know, they're going to tell you shouldn't be excited. That you know, all the fun police are going to be out today. But at the end of the day, you know, they're just jealous because they want the Champions League draw and they cannot have it. So it's all good for us. But look, let's welcome some people into the stream. Let's see who we got with us, and then we will bring up the pots and get straight into it. 10F1 says Parker, of course, UEFA Champions League is the biggest game in football history. Big up, brother. We've also got the regular with a bit of a font change. Absolutely love that. He says UEFA Champions League is back at the lane. That it is, my man. That it is. And he says Ajax, Tottenham, Dortmund and Rangers is my prediction for the draw. Big up the True 82 says Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Dynamo Zagreb. That'd be an interesting group. Me and Jack had a good talk about Dynamo Zagreb earlier on. Adil Bakari says Conte take us to the promised land. Tottenham would be a European force. Mark my words. Absolutely love that. Big up, Mark. Good to see you in the build, my man. Jet Roll Zulu. Come on, you Spurs. This is our season. Good to see you, brother. Big up Mile High Hotspur, guys. Everybody get over and check out. Me and Jack were on there late last night, actually. So get over there and check that out. A great interview. So big up everyone in the chat. I hope everyone is ready for what's to come. Let's hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Come on, you Spurs. Sue Smith, good to see you. She says, bet we get the stinkiest draw possible. I hope not. I really do hope not. I want a nice favourable draw. Mojo Matzi, I want PSG and Inter in our group. Wow, you're going big, my man. Wembley once this afternoon, boys. I hope we can get one of the Glasgow teams with me in a couple of epic nights for sure. I was thinking along that lines earlier, but sort of changed it. Big up Wolves FL. Good to see you in the building, my man, all the way from Finland. Rufus Roughcut as well. Hey, all looking forward to this. Big up, Rufus. Pierre Ogie says these are the Champions League. Can't wait to hear that music. And look, there's no better night than a European night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium under the lights. It's just absolutely phenomenal in terms of atmosphere. You know, just it's a special occasion, and I cannot wait to have them back. But look, Jack, I mean, how are you? We'll get straight into it.
Looking forward to it, Dave. I'm kind of a bit interested, you know, how this is going to play out, because sometimes, you know, you get a group of death, you know, in certain stages. Last Champions League, you know, it was like some pretty major group of deaths, if I recall. And actually, there were a few, you know, kind of teams that made it out to the group stages that you kind of wouldn't expect. You know, I think RB Salzburg is kind of one of those teams that we recall, you know, kind of making it out. So who knows, Dave? You know, certain teams might actually find, you know, an easier draw, and hopefully we are one of those teams. Dave, should we maybe dive into maybe our kind of ideal, you know, kind of predictions, or our kind of like ideal groups? Because I think that's kind of what everybody's talking about.
Let's bring up the pots first. Let's bring up the pots just to show everybody exactly what's in there. And then we'll get into the ideal groups. I just want to give everybody an idea before they start putting in the groups if they haven't seen it, because I know some people might only be on their way home from work. But look, big up John Langford says, here we go. David, don't care who, just enjoy the moment. And that we will. I'll enjoy every single moment of it, my man. Big yourself up. Slim by Tubbs, big up Dave, big up chat. Come on, you Spurs. But look, guys, here are the pots. So in pot one, we can draw Real Madrid, Eintracht Frankfurt, Man City, AC Milan, Bayern Munich, PSG, Porto, or Ajax. Of course, we're on in pot two, so it doesn't matter about any of them teams. We can't draw any of them. Pot three, Borussia Dortmund, Salzburg, Shakhtar, Inter Milan, Napoli, Benfica, Sporting, and Leverkusen. And pot four, this is where it hots up. We've got Rangers, we've got Dynamo Zagreb. You know, Zagreb, we owe them. Rangers would be a nice, tasty one. Olympique Marseille, FC Copenhagen. We've got Club Brugge. Celtic be another very interesting one as well. They're decent under Ange Postecoglou. And then we've got Victoria. And what's that last team, Jack? The Israeli team, Haifa. Yeah, I believe. I forget, actually. I think it starts with an M. You know, the first part might be, I'm not going to guess.
Yes, and so we'll just they actually had a pretty epic game, to qualify, Dave. I believe it was against Crvena Zvezda, that kind of Red Star Belgrade team. I actually watched the highlights for it and just kind of inform myself a bit on them, Dave. They were rocking a 5 in the back, in Belgrade that night, and they actually somehow came out with the win, and they went 2-0 down, as well, and they somehow found a way, Dave, to take it all for themselves. Normally, you go 2-0 down in Serbia, you're probably not going to get anything out of it, you would imagine. But somehow they did. It was pretty atrocious goalkeeping, Dave. Probably some of the worst goalkeeping I've seen in a while, on both, sides. So if we do come up against a Haifa, I would say Harry Kane, feel free to, have a few shots, from 30 or 40 yards. The guy will not save it. But yeah, Dave, a pretty epic game, though, I must say. And everybody should check it out because it wasn't really the highest quality of football, but at the same time, it was pretty epic, by the looks of it, the highlights. So congratulations to Haifa. My kind of, inside, theory, though, Dave, kind of while I am talking about them, I'm not sure how much I really want to play those sort of teams, that are sort of Champions League new boys, as you call them. It's kind of like, Premier League new boys, coming up from the championship. They got a lot of, kind of adrenaline, they got a lot of, kind of, expectations just to, have a good Champions League kind of time. It's sort of, their Champions League final, all of those group stage games, teams like Haifa coming into it. I think a good example of it was probably Sheriff FC last season, from Moldova, I believe it was, or Malta. And they were all, I think it was Moldova, Dave. And, they treated every game like a Champions League final. So I kind of don't really want to, have Haifa in our group. I feel like they're probably a team that maybe might not be the best in terms of quality, but they could kind of be underestimated in terms of kind of like their will, as well as kind of just their, sheer might, just to be playing in the Champions League. So those teams, I think, are a bit trickier than others.
No, they are, but I mean, what we pay on wages is half of them teams, transfer budget top four. So look, we all know what can happen. We've seen it against Dynamo Zagreb, but realistically, we're in a different place now, and we should be fancying ourselves against any of them teams in pot four. Pot three, look, I would fancy myself against a lot of them teams as well. There's some tricky ones in there, but I would fancy myself. We're in a favourable pot right now with pot two. It means we're coming out as what you would say second place, second favourites to come out of the group, in my opinion. And look, I agree with you though, Jacko. I don't think we want to be travelling too far, especially if you're doing an away game with an away Premier League game straight after it. So it would be nice to keep all of the teams we get in and around us, so we're not travelling too far, because we know the effect it can have on the team, the players and stuff like that. Even though they're travelling first class, it still takes a lot out of them. But look, Jack, let's get into who we want to see in our groups and who we don't want to see, and then I suppose we'll crack on with the draw as soon as it starts.
Would you like to explain yourself first, Dave, or would you rather I explain myself first?
No, look, go on. You explain yourself first, and I'll go second, because then we need to make sure that you have the draw, and then we can watch the same link. So you can go first.
Sure. Right here, I'm going to go with Ajax, actually, and, a bit of kind of an odd, kind of choice. Maybe that has to do with the fact that their manager, obviously, their kind of very famous manager, Ten Hag, just left. They have had a few players, leave the door. I think a lot of turnover has happened over at Ajax, kind of this year. The incomings, Bergwijn and whatnot, sure, maybe make them a better team, but I feel like there were a lot of, departures this season, including the manager. They're not even, I think, doing as well in comparison to PSV, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's going to be a more interesting Eredivisie season. So I feel like it's not as strong of an Ajax as maybe it was in seasons past. And like I said to you earlier, Dave, it's only like a 30-minute flight, to Amsterdam. So maybe just 30 minutes, pop over, smack them 4-0, go, home the same night. Shakhtar Donetsk, as much as I really like Shakhtar, have a soft spot for them, they've also had a few players kind of leave them that were very good, like, Marcus Antonio, Dodo. And then as well, I think they'll probably be playing at neutral grounds, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm, wrong on that. But if they play at a neutral ground, that might also be helpful. And then Club Brugge, they also lost their manager, and they lost to Ketelera, who I thought was their best player. I think even Noah Lang could be leaving, who's also one of their best players. And they lost their very good manager, kind of similar to Ten Hag. A very good manager has just left the door. So I think they might be easy, and similar logic, Dave. 30 minutes over to Belgium, smack them 4-0, 30 minutes, back over in the same night.
Yeah, no, look, 100%. Look, not a bad group. I mean, look, Ajax isn't as easy as we think it is. I mean, you have to remember what happened to us in the Champions League semi-final, that year. But look, I fully understand where you're coming from with that group, Jacko. Look, for me, just quickly, I'll go through it quickly. Eintracht Frankfurt, I mean, I think, look, we'll all agree they're probably the easiest team in pot one. I don't think Jack was going to pick them because he likes German football, so I knew he wouldn't pick them. And you could have almost put your house on that.
I mean, you got to give respect to the Europa League winners, Dave. They might know themselves, around a tournament, and in these sort of games.
I get what you're saying, but we should be beating Eintracht Frankfurt if we're being honest. We really should be. Some of their squad has been picked apart as well this summer. So for me, I would fancy us against Eintracht Frankfurt more than any of the other teams in that group. Porto can be tricky at times. Ajax, look, they'll either be woeful or they'll be unbelievable, and I don't want to take that risk. Then Shakhtar, the next, look, they haven't played in quite a while. It will probably be on a neutral venue as well. So, look, I know some people are saying we don't want them because you've played them early in the group. They can turn teams over, but haven't played in some time, so I would fancy us. And then I've gone for a nice, easy one in Victoria Pilsen as well. Look, I get it, going out there.
Good beer over there for the Spurs fans after we smack them 4-0, Dave, over in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, look, but at the end of the day, we should be beating them. And for me, I want the nicest group possible. I just want to get out of there and get into the group stages. That's what it's all about for me. So, the easiest route possible. But Jack, explain yourself. You've gone for your hardest group here.
Yes, my hardest group. This is where probably I do show respect to the German teams. Bayern München. I feel like Dave, they save up a lot of their energy for these group stage games. They often, kind of go undefeated in their group stage games. That's how much they kind of save up for them. I don't really recall a time, in the last 2 or 3 years where Bayern had anything less than like 13 points or something, in the group. They do kind of smack every team about no matter who they have in it. So I feel like they would be a tough one. Also, the way they play, I think, is very tough against a team like ours, that kind of relentless pressing, kind of domination of kind of the ball and possession. I just think we'd struggle. Inter Milan, the San Siro, Inter Milan kind of again being back in the Champions League. I think it'd be a tough crowd. They have a very big ultra, kind of presence, as well. I just think the San Siro could be actually a tough atmosphere. And I think Inter Milan actually have plenty of good players, if not world-class players in their side. Marseille, kind of similar thinking, where I feel like, just recently, like Eintracht Frankfurt did, they did very well in the Conference League. They were kind of, a very good team in Ligue 1 last season. Of course, their manager did leave, but I think they brought in a new one that, supposedly is going to try to, rebuild at least what they lost, but they did do pretty well in tournament football last season. So I feel like Marseille could be kind of like an Eintracht sort of thing. It's like, don't underestimate them, for maybe their slip ups and whatnot. Like they have done quite well in Champions League, or not Champions League, just at least European tournament football.
No, look,
and a big ultra presence as well. Huge ultra presence.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Mine, I would say, is a slight bit different. Well, not really, actually. We've both gone with Inter Milan. So that's more or less the same. I think with looking at that pot tree, I think Inter Milan probably a bit better than Dortmund, probably a bit better than Napoli. So I do think they're probably the hardest team in that group. But for me, I have the holders in it, Jack. I mean, you see with Real Madrid, they don't have to have a lot of possession, but they'll still punish you at the end of the day if you do not take your chances. So I do not want Real Madrid. They know how to win a Champions League. So for me, I do not want them. And then I've gone for Celtic in pot 4. Look, I was thinking Marseille, they like you said, Jack, they do have a bit of an ultra present. It can be a bit of a tasty atmosphere. But Celtic will not be an easy team to play against either. Trust me. I mean, I watched them under Ange Postecoglou, Jack. They're very, very fit. They press, they play football at a high tempo. And if Tottenham don't turn up on the night, become a very, very tricky affair for Tottenham. So that's why I've gone with Celtic. But guys, there is our easiest and our toughest draws. So that's what we have gone for. We're just waiting for the draw to kick off. Still hasn't started yet. We have a super chat here from Dark Sun G. Big up, Dark Sun G. Adrian Chia. Big up, my man. Good to see you. We'll go with this one first. It was first in. He says, big up, lads. Oh, what a night. Tottenham playing on a Wednesday night. You play Thursday because you're fucking shy. What a feeling, what a night. Absolutely love that. Big up, Adrian. Come on, you Spurs. Finally great to hear the UEFA Champions League anthem. Look, I'll be honest, I've been listening to it all day. In fact, fun fact, I had to walk downtown earlier to buy something. The drains in my apartment are blocked, which was pissing me off. So I had to walk downtown to get something for it earlier. And all the way along, I just had the Champions League song playing on repeat with my earphones in because I'm just absolutely buzzing. You know, I'm absolutely buzzing. And may I add, it's a great bit of classical music as well. I'm not into classical. Personally, I think it's shit, but it's a great piece of music. And then Dark Song Jesus, what do you think about the Carabao Cup draw? Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, of course, Carabao Cup draw. We got Nottingham Forest. For me, I'm happy with it. City drew Chelsea, which is good for us. One of the contenders will be going out in the next round. Look, I'm not going to say Forest is easy because we got turned over by Middlesbrough in what was it, the FA Cup last year. So for me, I'm not going to write them off, but it is a game we should be winning if I'm being honest. But it's good for us that the two potential contenders for the trophy are playing each other, Dark Song G. That's what I will say, my friend. But big up Adrian Chia, big up Dark Song G. Really appreciate the support, my man. Now we are going to get into the draw. It does look like it'll be kicking off very, very shortly. So everybody make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button if you have not. And like Dark Song G, like Adrian Chia, who got me going with a nice song, feel free to get your super chats in with your thoughts. It basically highlights your comment. We'll get straight to it. We'll have a good discussion on it. And as well, it is a great way to support everything myself and Jacko are trying to do here. And we are having a bit of trouble getting the draw up, but it's okay. I do have it on my phone, so I will be able to keep up with it as it happens. But we'll keep trying to, we're working on it. Do not worry, we will be able to do the draw. I have it on my phone regardless, guys. So do not worry about that. Guys, we also have a show back here later on tonight at 9:30, so tune in for that if you feel like it. And you know what? I was also listening to Stop Crying Arteta. You know, a bit of that today. I was absolutely buzzing with that as well, you know. So I'm absolutely loving life at the minute. Champions League draw, they're just showing clips and highlights here at the minute. It will be getting underway any minute. But let's see who's in the comments with us. We have Mick Hermlock. He says, big up. We also have Splash Browse. He says, Celtic. Alpha T says, want the hardest group possible, better the group, and send a message. Look, there's definitely an argument for that. I think a lot of people would be thinking along more like that lines. You know, give us a tough group, see where we're really at, see if we can get out. Look, what I would say is if you got a Real Madrid, a PSG, a Bayern, maybe a Dynamo Zagreb, and maybe an Inter Milan, it'd be a true test of where you're really at. Dynamo Zagreb, because they knocked us out of the Europa League. Inter Milan, probably best team in pot 3. And you can't get an English team in pot 1, so it'll be Real Madrid, PSG, or Bayern for me. And I think it'll give us a true test of where we really well and truly are at with where we are at now with the summer signings, with Conte and stuff like that. So it'll be very, very interesting. Big up Ethan Pegram. He says, come on, you Spurs. Big up Welsh Gal. Good to see you in the building. Says, big up David and Jack. Champions League team heard at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Can you imagine the emotion on the fans, the players, and everybody else when that is bellowing out over the PA system around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the first game? It is going to be magical. You might even see a few tears, you know, because at one stage, I'm sure a lot of us thought we weren't going to be back here for quite some time. So it is great to be back for sure. Still showing ads. It's pissing me off. I mean, just get on with the draw. It's what we're all here for.
Probably why I can't find it, Dave. You know, it's just, you know, they're just wasting time. You know, they left to tell you, you know, that it's happening. And then 30 minutes later, maybe, you know, Jermaine Genius is going to come out, you know, tell us it'll be 30 more minutes. I'm looking forward to it, Dave.
Oh, it's really annoying. Just get on with the draw. I mean, don't advertise them starting at 5 and then show all these stupid ads and stuff. Gillian Gubbins, good to see you, mate. I hope you are keeping well, brother. Says Irish Cafu playing Champions League football. Who would have thought? It's teams you dream of. Can't wait to see Spurs back where they belong. And that's it at the end of the day. It is back where we belong, my man. It is. Like at the end of the day, you know, under Pochettino and that, it's and under what we were told, it's the expectations set by what Pochettino done, set by the board when they're sacking managers because they can't get top 4. So, I mean, it technically is where we belong. It's where everyone at the club thinks we belong if they're sacking managers on the remit of not getting top 4, like they've done with Poch, like they've done with Jose Mourinho. So for me, fully agree with you. I think it is back where we belong, my man. We also have Dark Song G. Big up, Dark Song G, brother. Really appreciate the support. He says it feels so good to play great teams in the Champions League, unlike the Gooners who plays mid-tier clubs in Europa where they belong. Richarlison, Pierre, Højbjerg, Skip, and Basuma must be ready. I mean, Jack, how good does it feel for you, to you for us being back in the Champions League, lad?
I mean, it feels good just because it sort of was the competition between us and Arsenal for the longest time, Dave, about who could
Yeah,
actually get back into the Champions League and sort of represent, North London in that sort of kind of manner, in kind of, it sort of, was a disgrace that really for a while there was no North London team, really in the
yeah,
Champions League. I guess in my lifetime, Dave, it's kind of been, the trend has been more Spurs than it has been Arsenal. Kind of my only kind of memories of Arsenal in the Champions League is kind of them just getting smacked by Bayern, every single,
yeah.
time that they get, into it. But since then, of course, it's been very dormant. And so it's actually just good to be back into it just for probably even the local area. Of course, I can't even speak, to the local
Mm.
area, Dave, but, it sort of probably feels right that there's a team, from, North London back into the Champions League, especially a club the size of Tottenham. And for Antonio Conte's, probably own ego, for Antonio Conte's, own kind of, measure of progression, measure of success. I think him, being, probably on the couch watching that Champions League draw is, real kind of, probably like tangible kind of, physical way, that he can, show to himself that he's gone very far already, I think, with Spurs as well, Dave.
100%. Do you know what, Jack? I wonder how many Arsenal fans, the players, their manager and stuff, are sitting at home right now feeling like it was a massive opportunity missed last season, because when Arteta writ off that game at halftime in the
Mm-hmm.
North London derby and said, it's okay, guys, next week, Newcastle, we've won it, we've another game. Just, they really thought they were going to do it. So it's fantastic knowing that they're at home, sitting there, probably with a few tears in their eyes, waiting for the Europa League draw, which is probably where they belong. If we're being honest, they had the time in the Champions League. They've done nothing with it, getting slapped up by Bayern at every opportunity. They just weren't a good team in the Champions League. They just, especially towards the end of Wenger's era. So it is great that they're not in it anymore. And look, I have no doubt, I do think like Bissouma, Højbjerg, Skip, Richarlison, they'll step up. You throw Perisic in there, Kane, Son. Look, I'm sure there's teams in them pots that might not want Tottenham Hotspur either, especially under Antonio Conte, especially with some of the world-class players we have. So I'm sure there's going to be teams in there fearing us as well, Dark Song G, brother. But big yourself up, my man. Absolutely love it. They're still talking absolute waffle here. Just get on with the draw. I mean, they're just wasting our time at this stage. Now they're showing some, who is it, that UEFA president walking up some stairs. Oh, it's absolutely ridiculous what they're doing here right now. But I mean, look, everybody put in your groups. Let us know what you want to see, what you think Tottenham should get in this draw. But look, Jack, do you feel our squad is ready to take on the Champions League? And how far do you think we can actually go? Because Antonio Conte doesn't have the best track record in Europe, Jack.
Yeah, he doesn't, and that is kind of, maybe a scary factor. He does have a decent record, in the Europa League. Of course, he did lose,
Yeah.
ultimately in the final, to a team that does exceptionally well in the Europa League, Sevilla. Are we a team that's, capable of, winning the Champions League? Do we have a squad capable of it, Dave? I'll probably be honest and say not really, especially in the defense. It's really hard to really pick out players there that you really think are capable of, taking on, the likes of Vinicius Jr., Benzema. We saw Benzema, Vinicius Jr., Dave, just single-handedly, themselves, kind of take apart, very, solid defenses, and kind of the last, kind of breaths, of a game. And our Dyer, and, Davies and etc. As much as I think they've been exceptional for us, recently, I just don't know. I think that's a whole nother level, when they do come into the knockout games. And the knockout games, Dave, you're also coming up against some pretty exceptional kind of tactical battles, as well.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be coming up against, either like Nagelsmann's team, Dave, which will be trying, win the balls high up the pitch as possible. They'll be all over you. You could be coming up against, PSG, which is kind of a whole new PSG, one that's kind of sitting back a bit more, but, letting, Neymar and Mbappe and Messi just kind of go free on those counterattacks. And then as well, you have to look at the fact that There are teams that are just going to be, really stuck in defensively, really solid. Every Champions League team, if they make it to the knockout rounds, usually is pretty defensively solid. So it's just, I don't know, Dave, it's just a whole nother level of football. It's the most elite football in the world. And when you reach those semifinals, when you kind of reach those quarterfinal legs, you do have to really know your game. And do we have a good enough squad while also managing the Premier League? It's tough for me. It's tough for me. But I would say it's actually harder these days to be able to, keep a consistent Premier League campaign, throughout, throughout the season. It's really hard to keep, the rhythm, keep, winning, keep the, kind of the momentum in the Premier League is kind of a whole different sort of task than the Champions League. The Champions League sometimes can just be won, I don't know, out of nowhere, kind of like Real Madrid have done it, just recently. So I don't know, maybe Spurs, could have it in them. But when I do look at the squad on paper, Dave, while also balancing, the Premier League, I think that's what I'm thinking about, balancing the Premier League and the Champions League. Maybe not the, most ideal.
That's what
did I expect us to be there in that, within a year, Dave? Like, did I expect us to be able to have, a Champions League winning squad as well as a Premier League winning squad within one summer? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't think that's what my expectation was.
First of all, before I get into it, I do agree with you. Can you build the squad we need to go and win it within one summer, considering how drastic it was? No, you can't. But I do want to say a few things. There's people asking us to draw started yet. I'll be honest, UEFA are just having one big jerking circle there in the middle, patting each other on the back, giving out some shitty little awards, shining some bald heads. It's pissing me off. Just get on with the draw. I mean, you're just wasting everybody's day. But of course, UEFA have to. And if you want to know where the money goes, that's where it goes. Rather than going back to clubs, grassroots footballs, it goes to one big jerking circle. It's absolutely ridiculous. And this guy here, big up, he says, I'm Korean, his son Young-min, world class. I mean, it's not even a debate. Of course he is, my man. Of course he's world class. It's not even a debate, my brother. Big yourself up. Now, for me, look, I go into it dreaming we can win the Champions League. I think, look, the likes of Kane, Son, Hugo Lloris, they're going to be hurt from the last run we had at the final and not getting over the line. Hopefully they can use that pain to drive them on and inspire them on. What I would prefer is an easy group so that, we don't have as many tough challenges midweek with the Premier League as well. It'd be ideal to get an easy group and compete in the league all the way up until November, and then get the transfer window to open again in January. We'd go again, and then Champions League would kick back up then again in February and stuff like that. And look, I think with Conte, I do believe absolutely anything is possible. I think with some of the additions we have, Perisic coming in will make a huge difference. I think, Højbjerg, Bentancur, Bissouma, Skip, there's a lot of energy in that midfield. I think they can definitely help us out there. Kulu Sexy on the wings up front with Kane and Son. For me, I think we have more than enough goals in that team to beat absolutely anybody on our day. Now, defensively, I think if we can keep playing that low-blocked sort of system we play to keep plugging up the holes and gaps and frustrate these teams and counter-attack on them, I think we definitely have a chance for sure. I think there's definitely a chance. But we also have to take into account Conte's record when there's 2 games per week, one midweek and one at the weekend. Results do start to suffer a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if Conte has a way of getting over that as well. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy. I think, it's going to be very, very hard to do, but I'm not writing Tottenham off. I believe on another day we can beat absolutely anybody, and we shouldn't be afraid of anybody either. So I definitely think we can win it. Dark Zone G says, it will feel so great to see Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Skip, Richarlison, Bissouma, Kane, Son, Lloris, Kulu, Bentancur, QE, Perisic, and more to play in our beautiful stadium and play the top teams. I mean, it's going to be absolutely unbelievable. And look, if you look at some of them names there, if we're being honest, they deserve to play Champions League football. Kane deserves it. Son deserves it. Lloris deserves it. Kulu, Bentancur, QE Romero, Perisic, who left teams to come to Tottenham, who left teams that were in Champions League to come to Tottenham. Bissouma, new sign. It'd be interesting to see what level he's at. Put him out there, see if he's a Champions League midfielder. Richarlison, look, for me, I think the kid definitely has the hunger, the desire, and stuff like that. Could he be found out in the Champions League? It remains to be seen. But, someone that has that dogged nature against some of them teams, if we do get a Pilsen or something like that, I believe he will really help us out in them sort of games. I really do believe that. And then Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, look, I think the guy's just a leader. I have no fear that he's going to step up. Jack, you know, our stadium as well, the beautiful stadium, you got to see it deserves it. It just deserves us to be playing Champions League, deserves a Champions League song, and it deserves the top teams, the best teams coming to it.
I mean, it just feels good, Dark Sun G, to see kind of some of the players that, you know, at least Dark Sun G and I, you know, really love and, you know, appreciate, you know, wearing actually that Champions League badge, you know, on their shoulder, if you know what I mean, you know, with the likes of Basuma, Perisic, especially Romero, Kane, Sonny as well, you know, seeing Sonny with, you know, the Champions League badge, you know, on his arm as well, Dark Sun G, just looks right, you know, kind of just fits in. I'm kind of tired of, you know, that Europa Conference League, you know, like kind of stitch pattern, you know, in the Europa League, you know, orange pattern. It's nice just to see, you know, Dave, you know, that puffy, you know, kind of just Champions League ball, you know, right, that they put on the shoulder. And it's exactly what you want to see. It's exactly what you want to see.
No,
So Dark Sun G. And like I said, you know, all the new players that even Paratici has brought into this team, all the new players that, you know, Spurs have signed, you know, since, you know, kind of Antonio Conte has come in, or even, you know, when Nuno was here, you know, with some of the signings, it's nice to see that, you know, they can finally have that Champions League badge on their arm and on that kind of, you know, kind of that new home kit, which I actually am a bit of a fan of, I must say, you know, especially with the Champions League.
It's growing on me. It's growing on me. Look, I absolutely hated it when it came out, but I'll be honest, it's growing on me. It'd be interesting to see if Tottenham, you know, maybe come out with the all white, you know, the white socks, white shorts, and white jersey. I think we played it before in the Europa League, I think, or it was even the Europa Conference League where we played in all white kit, traditional Tottenham kit in Europe from way back in the day. You know, it'd be very interesting to see whether we do whip out the all white. Let me know in the chat, actually. Do you want to see Tottenham in the all white, the historic European Tottenham kit? I think it'd be absolutely gorgeous to see, if I'm being honest. Again, I'll be honest, I don't know how many more questions they can keep coming up with before they get on with the draw.
No, Dave, I mean, that's why I was confused. I'm watching the American Jerk Circle, you know, version, Dave. You know, I'm just watching them, you know, as well. You know, they're talking about pot 3 again. Now they're talking about pot 4. You kind of just want to smack them, you know, with one of these pots, Dave, just and get the Champions League, you know, kind of draw over with. I'm actually shocked because, you know, as well, you know, we're probably going to get, you know, certain, you know, people as well in the Champions League situation. You know, Dave, they'll probably, you know, be taking forever just to open up, you know, the balls as well. So I don't know. It's just going to be a nightmare, I must say. And, you know, we're watching the American version of this Jerk Circle, as you were saying.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, don't just tell us the actual time for the draw. Nobody wants to be watching this crap beforehand. Nobody cares. We just want to see the draw. It's absolutely ridiculous. But Yaya Toure is on the one that I'm watching on BT Sport. So it's good to see him rolled out, Tottenham coach now, which is good. Be interested to see, or if anybody's listening, to let me know what he is saying. Adrian Chia says, will be interesting season with the World Cup right in the middle. And look, seasons like this is where absolutely anything can happen. And it's a season, I'll be honest, that's made for a miracle. Why can't Tottenham be that miracle? I believe it, I envisage it, and I definitely think we can. Look, I think we'll definitely be up there in first, second, or third come November, in my opinion. I think we've started well. We've picked up 7 points out of 9 where we did it last year. Yeah, okay, some people compare it to Nuno's start where, you know, we had 9 points out of 9. But look, these are games last year where we dropped points. So for me, it's 7 points gained right now. And we've got a nice run of fixtures up until Man City on the 10th. If we could beat Man City on the 10th of September, look, there's no reason why we can't go on to win that league. And we just have to then become the pillar of consistency. We have to just learn to keep getting over that line no matter what. So, yeah, it is interesting with the World Cup in the middle. But this is where miracles are made, my man. You look at the League Cup, City and Chelsea getting each other so early on. I mean, one of them contenders are gone. So even the League Cup, you could be looking at maybe a championship team or even a League One team in the quarters or the semi-finals. You know what I mean? So we could end up getting a nice favourable run if in that as well, which would be nice. Be very interesting to see where we are come November. Adrian Chia, big yourself up, my man.
Really, big up, Adrian. Big up, Dark Sun G.
Support.
And like Ian says in the comments there, Dave, you know, it's really just picking ping pong balls, you know, out of a bowl, just opening them. But, you know, it seems like, you know, they want to talk about it, you know, for hours and hours and hours. And, you know, like you said, you know, I'd be happy to talk about it for hours and hours and hours while they're opening up, you know, the groups, you know, while they're getting it going. It just seems like, you know, they're forcing us to watch, you know, their own commentary. And, you know, they might as well just hire us to do it, Dave, because they're just wasting time right in front of our eyes.
And what annoys me, probably every 15 minutes they'll stop, show some highlight reels, butter each other up again. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just show us what we want to see. It's really pissing me off now. I mean, just tell us the draw's going to start at 5:30 if that's the time you're going to start the draw. Nobody wants to be watching this crap. Everyone's pissed off with UEFA. Nobody likes UEFA. So, why did they persist with doing all this big grand stuff beforehand? Nobody likes them. They're corrupt. UEFA, FIFA, they're all corrupt. It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, finally, they're starting to take their place at the pots. How much you betting? I'm going to take bets. 2-1. How much you betting they go to a break beforehand? How much you betting? I guarantee you they will. Nice little break. It's 22 minutes past 5 now. Probably won't start till 5:30, and there'll be another bit of a discussion with this grey-haired fool rolled out there now. Stuff like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Tom Harris says they need an extra 30 minutes to give Man City the easiest group. It wouldn't surprise me that they're trying to fix it, because there was that banded round about them before about certain balls being heated, Jack. So we know what
Tom's definitely onto something there. Tom's definitely onto something. They probably just found a way, to delay it. They said to BT Sport, they said to Paramount, guys, just put on your worst presenters possible. We need you to be able to, stall for 30 minutes and just make everybody want to pull their hair out, because we just realized, Man City just passed us a brown envelope, to be able to just put them in Group A. Because, I think Man City, Dave, they probably want to just be put in Group A, put Victoria Pilsen, Shakhtar, Club Brugge or whatever, in that group. And then they'll just fly out. Maybe they're probably even the first one that leaves the room, Man City. They don't even want to be sitting in that room, with the rest of, everybody else. That's probably what's just happened. Exactly, Tom. It's probably a good, point there. And Real Madrid, last time were very upset because they thought they, paid FIFA or, UEFA enough, to be able to get a good group. But I think Man City outbid them and, turned into that little disaster. So I know what you mean, Tom. It's a good theory.
Yeah, no, big up, Tom, my man. Really appreciate the comment. Luke Dadaruma says, if we want to be amongst the teams for the league title, we can't be worried who we draw in the Champions League. And if anything, we would want the big fish. Oh, yeah, look, first of all, why not UEFA? Show us all the pots that you put out across all your platforms all day. Waste more time. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Guys, go make tea, go make coffee, tune back in here at 5:30. That's definitely the time it started at. Wouldn't surprise me if they delayed it to 5:45. But, look,
I think they're actually trying to teach us the alphabet now, Dave. They're showing us, what A comes after B, then C. It's really actually getting, a bit out of hand here. Now they're insulting, even the people's intelligence.
No, it's just a piss take at this stage. But look, Luke, I do see what you're saying. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we shouldn't really fear anybody. But if we are being realistic, there are some teams in pot one that you probably would like to avoid. Look, my thought is when you've got the games, you have to remember you've got League Cup games, you've got Premier League games and Champions League games. So you're going to be playing a game every 3 to 4 days, more or less. Look, so for me, I would like an easy group. I want easy ties in the League Cup. I want easy ties in the Champions League, because for me, we've got so many games we have to manage. And the last thing I want is having to rest players in the league for a massive Champions League game during the week. It'd be nice to be able to roll out a great team in the league and then roll out again in the Champions League, get the job done and get the boys off the pitch early. That's what I would prefer. Jack, I don't know whether you agree or do you want the big fish, or are you thinking more the amount of games we have to play?
I want teams that will give us a tough ride that would test us for even the Premier League as well as the Champions League. So if you kind of do want one tough team, I've actually said PSG is actually a team I would take, Dave, mostly because I know that, it's pretty much the only games they pretty much care about, this season. And then as well, the likes of Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, etc., I think will make Eric Dyer, Ben Davies and whatnot, much better defenders, make our defense just much better in general, having, kind of games like that against them. Bayern Munich would also be, a decent team to come up against. They would teach us, how to play against the sort of relentless pressing teams, in a certain, and how to prepare for that. So you actually do want a tough team in your group, at least one, I would say, just so that you could maybe, I don't know, Dave, concede a goal, so that you could learn, maybe from, a certain type of tactical team, because you're coming up against elite teams, and it'd be nice to come up against one sort of elite team that we know Spurs might struggle against. And I think teams like Bayern Munich, we might struggle against. Teams like PSG, we could struggle against because of that kind of elite attacking prowess that they have. So that's what I would go for. Maybe a team that has some elite forwards, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it'd be very, very interesting. Although I'll be honest, I do not trust that back line to come up against
Well,
any.
you might as well give them
Being
good
honest.
practice. You don't want to fake them, with poor practice or poor opponents. So maybe that's kind of the logic, I think, for me, Dave.
Yeah, no, look, that's fair. Of course, everybody pay up. Of course, UEFA had to go on a break, or sorry, BT Sport had to go on a break. It's getting absolutely farcical at this stage. Adrian Chia says entire draw could be done in 5 minutes tops. I mean, just like the League Cup draw, just get it over and done with, in and out. Nobody wants all this crap beforehand. No one wants all the crap after. No one wants all the crap in between. Get in, get the draw done, and get out. Like, it's a new age. It's a new age. Nobody cares about that crap anymore before it draws and shit. Just get it done and get out. And they show more highlight reels now. It's actually
knowing Adrian, he could probably do it in 3 minutes, Dave. They could just put a blind. They just put a blind. I know he's a Spurs fan, so maybe some bias there. Just put a blindfold on him, and he'd probably be able to do it in 3 minutes.
Probably, lad. He probably would if we're being honest.
Just put them, like fish tank, the ping pong balls, and he just picks them all out one at a time, and then there you go. I mean, it's insane, Dave. No package reels, no needed, no Jermaine Genius, talking at you, or anything. It's just simple. I wish Adrian was running it.
No, yeah, so do I, lad. So do I. Big up, Adrian. Really appreciate the support, brother. We've got Moondog. Afternoon, David and Jack. What time is the draw? Well, Moondog, it was supposed to start at 5, but for some reason, we've had to watch them all jerk each other off. We've had to watch them pat each other on the back, pass them suitcases full of money, show us the algorithm of how the draw works. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I'll hedge my bets. It's probably starting now in 2 minutes. The presenters are now behind the desk near the pots where they fucking should have been half an hour ago. So hopefully now we can get on.
All right,
with the
first
draw.
one, from
Let's
pot
go,
one.
Yaya. Come on. We're about to start. About to start the draw. Let's go. Who do we want, guys? Get in the chat. Who do we want?
And it is Ajax.
Ajax, first draw. First one's out the hat. Very, very interesting. So, Jacko, let's get it on the way. Let's get this live draw.
I believe they would go to Group A then, Dave, if I'm going to share my screen here.
Oh, what's going on, man? What's going on? So Ajax have been the first one out the hat. Anybody, do we want Ajax? Let us know, guys. Let us know in the chat. Do we want Ajax?
Then it's Porto.
Porto next out of the hat. What group are they going into?
Do they go into Group B, I believe?
They're going into Group B. So Porto are going into Group B. Do we want Porto? I don't. Well,
I don't like the Portuguese teams. I don't really. The Portuguese teams are tough, Dave. They are quite tough defensively as well. They sit very low block.
Yeah. Torres, another ball. Took him quite a time to open that one. Who's the next one out of the hat? Let's see.
Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich. What group are they going into? Let's have a look here. They are going to Group A, B, C, D, E. No.
I think they're doing it in an odd order. I think that's Group C. Yeah, Group C.
Okay. So Bayern Munich are out the hat. Let's see who's next. There's PSG, AC Milan, and stuff like that. Pot 2 will be drawn shortly. That's where it gets really exciting. Who's next out? Yaya Toure with another pick. Does this one more expertly well. Here we go. He's about to open it.
Delicate hands. He's trembling. Eintracht.
It's Eintracht Frankfurt. That's the team I want. They look like they're going into Group D.
I hope for Eintracht.
Yeah, Group D. Let's see who is next out of the hat. Just get on to pot 2. It's where it's more exciting, if I'm being honest. Oh, come on. Who we got next? Who's out next? Yeah, Tore's starting to do this efficiently.
He's starting to tremble, Dave. I think he feels the Spurs one. I think he feels it.
Well, we're in pot 2. We won't get drawn out in this one.
Oh, okay.
Who's coming out of here?
Taking his time now. Yeah. Bless his heart.
Oh, he could barely get this one open. He's opened it.
AC Milan.
And it's AC Milan. What group are they going into?
Group E.
Group E. Jeez, they're doing that very, very weird. Group E for AC Milan. So, guys, we'll wait till pot 1 is drawn out and then let us know what one you want out of all pot 1. Yaya Toure doing this nice and efficiently. Absolutely loving this. Who have we got, Yaya?
Yeah,
come on.
Good form on this ping pong ball. Good form from him. Real
And it
Madrid.
is Real Madrid. What group are they going into?
Group F, Dave.
Oh, interesting. They are in Group F. Is that Real Madrid president they're showing? I think it is.
They had
Come
to
on, just get
separate
on
him
the
from
top.
Mbappe. I'm actually surprised they even let, PSG's, owners be there, because I thought, Mbappe owned the club. Figured he would just be, kind of, just sitting in the crowd.
Here we go. Who's the next out of the group? We're out of the pot. And it is
Man
Manchester
City.
City. And what group did they go into?
Group G, Dave.
Group G. Well, I don't think we can get City anyway, so that's
We
fine.
could. No, they're pot A or pot 1.
Yeah, but I don't think English teams can get each other in the group
Oh, yeah,
stage.
you're right,
I'm
Dave.
almost sure.
Dave did his homework, everybody.
I think I'm correct. I wanted to do more homework, but I had issues today. I had to get it resolved. And Paris Saint-Germain are last out of pot 1. So everybody, that is pot 1 drawn out. As you can see here, Real Madrid in Group G, Ajax in Group A, Porto in Group B, Bayern Munich in Group C. Group D is Eintracht Frankfurt. Group E is AC Milan. Group F is Real Madrid. Group G is Man City. And Group H is Paris Saint-Germain. So, guys, let us know in the chat, what group do you want us to go into after pot 1 is drawn? Our pot will be drawn out next. Be interesting to see who we get in, or who we get. Me, look, out of that one, I'm looking at Eintracht Frankfurt, Milan, Porto, or Ajax would be the teams I would rather get drawn into. Paul, big up, Paul. Good to see you. He says Group C. The True 82 says that is correct. Nations from same club don't face each other until knockout stages. Absolutely.
I want Group A, Dave. I want Group A
there's
right
a
now.
few for Group A. There's a few that want Ajax here, Jacko.
It's a very weakened Ajax. I think they're going to not be as, strong as they were last season. Of course, they don't have their precious Ten Hag. I think players like Antony might be out the door. They lost Ryan Gravenberch. They lost as well, I believe Sebastian Haller. There's another player I think they lost that I'm forgetting. So there's Parachures, one of their, center backs. They lost Mazraoui, a lot of, turnover in that team, and also losing their coach. I'm just, a bit worried, for Ajax, maybe they could have a, that reputation, kind of be, hit a little bit this season. I think it's kind of a big, as much as Ajax are very good at rebuilding, Dave, this is a rebuilding season, for Ajax. So like I said, very short flight over to Amsterdam. I'm sure Ben and Sim, would enjoy going to Amsterdam, at least twice, and then we just give them a nice spanking.
Well, I believe they want Amsterdam followed by a trip to Israel is what the two boys want, Jack. So that's what they're looking for.
RB Leipzig for Yaya. So that would go into Group A. Where's RB Leipzig going?
Not 100% sure.
No, they're not going there. They have to go E, F, G, H. I'm not sure where they're going. Tell me where they're going. Yeah. I guess they didn't even declare a group for RB Leipzig. Oh yeah, this is where they pick the pots or the groups for them. Oh, they just love opening these up, Dave.
Why can't they just be pop open? Why did it have to be screw open? It just wastes so much more time. Look at this guy. He just wants to get more airtime.
Group F for RB Leipzig, which let's see. Everybody look at our screen. Look at our screen. We're going to see what that means. That means they're going to Real Madrid.
Ooh.
RB Leipzig had a very tough group last season, Dave. Remember RB Leipzig last season? They had PSG as well as Man City in their group.
But I'm buzzing. That just means the holders are out for Tottenham. So that is Real Madrid ruled out. Who is next out of that pot? Yaya Toure. Kenny picked Tottenham Hotspur.
Juventus.
Oh, what group are they going into? Let's take a look now. Put them in with Bayern Munich. That'd be tasty. Bayern Munich or PSG would be tasty. Come on. Who are they going to put them in with? Yeah, this guy just has to fix the draw here first. Only 2 balls in there. So there are the 2 possible groups they can get. What group are they going to get?
H.
So who have they got? They are in with PSG. Oh, this draw is...
Yeah, the bottom of it is looking tasty over there, Dave. The bottom is looking tasty.
Once we can hopefully eliminate Byron in the next pull-out, Jack, and we'll be okay, in my opinion. Yeah, Toure quick on the trigger here Let's see who he pulls out here. Come on, who is it?
Yaya has a class suit on him. I like his suit.
Yeah, it is trendy. It's fashionable. Looks sick.
Tottenham!
Hotspur! Come on, let's see.
Come on. Who are we getting? Come on.
So we can get group A, B,
man.
C, D, or E. A, B, C, D, or E are the groups that we can get. We can't get Man City, so it'll be very interesting to see which one we get pulled out in. What one do we not want to see? We don't want to see C. That's the only one we do not want to see. So let's see who the big dogs in the competition
I gave it an extra spin. He's trying to give us some extra spin on it, Dave.
You can't even get it open. No C. We don't want Group C.
Group D.
Group D. Come on.
Find out. We're with Eintracht.
I called it.
There we go. Dave's getting the easiest group shout. Come on.
We're getting out of the group already. I don't even need to see the rest of the draw. We are already out of that group. Let's fucking go. Come on. Buzzing. I don't even care about the rest of the draw.
Dave. You know, the easy trips to Frankfurt. It's also an easy airport, you know, to get to. So I'm actually happy for Ben and Sib. You know, no layovers, you know, no kind of, in between flights. It's, you know, nice, you know, kind of trip over to Frankfurt, Dave. You know, have a few sausages, have a few beers, smack them 5-0, head back in the same night. It's exactly what you want. Wunderschön.
Over to Frankfurt for a Frankfurter, Jack. Absolutely love it. Liverpool are next out. Just quickly, we'll see what group they get, and then we will get back to talking Tottenham. But I'll be honest, we could probably end here. I got the one I want. It's all about pot A. We got the easiest one. Oh, Group
A, they go with Ajax.
Interesting. Absolutely elated. It's
the two best options. Either them or Ajax was our two best choices, you could say. And that is,
and anyone that doesn't believe me and Jack picked these out before the draw, and here it is. I said Eintracht Frankfurt. We both want Shakhtar the next, so let's see if that is the next one out for Tottenham. But Jack, are you happy with that? The group being in Group D with Eintracht Frankfurt. The fact that we missed Bayern, Real Madrid, PSG, maybe potentially a tricky trip out to Milan. You know, Ajax potentially can be tricky. We really did get the easiest team in the pot, and I'm absolutely loving life. Should I be this happy, Jacko?
No, I mean, you really couldn't be happier. You know, in the case of Ajax, you know, I kind of maybe just secretly did want to, you know, just give Stevie B, you know, a nice, you know, kind of, you know, big, you know, kind of a, you know, hounding, you know, or, you know, let him, you know, kind of, you know, taste the wrath, you know, of Spurs. But, you know, it's nice to be able to see, Frankfurt, you know, as maybe it's probably most people's first choice. I would reckon, you know, they are probably the weakest of those pot one groups. I think we're seeing Sevilla going to PSG. So just Sevilla going to Group G. So that's with Man City. They're actually a tough team, Sevilla, and I reckon they would give them some tough games. But back to, Eintracht, Dave. You know, I feel like Oliver Glasner, he showed he was a good tournament football manager, but let's be honest, like their team really was, you know, kind of lucky to make it that far in the Europa League. They were just putting in some spectacular performances. They don't really even have like too many great players. You know, I think of like that midfielder, Jabril So, maybe, you know, Daichi Kamada, you know, as well. He's not too bad. That striker, Rafa Borre, wasn't, you know, he had some good bangers, but, you know, really, Dave, you know, that team, it's really quite young. You know, it's not really put together too well. They don't even have very much depth. You know, they had a pretty poor Bundesliga season last season as well, you know, Eintracht. So I don't know. I think we could end up, you know, spanking them a few times, Dave. I think it's easily the best option for Spurs. I do hope we get maybe a tougher, you know, kind of other one. Because like I said, you don't want the easiest group possible, I would say. You don't want the easiest group.
You do. I do, Jacko, because look, for me, I'll be honest, right? A trip to
You want a good test, Dave. You still want a good test. You don't want it to be, you know, absolute, you know,
yeah,
cake,
we can get a good test after the group stage. For me, it's about getting through the group stage with all the games piled up to November, get the easiest group possible. It gives you the best chance of rotation, etc., across all competitions. After that, when the World Cup is out of the way, the games start to ease off a little. Then you can give me whoever you want us to slap up, put them in front of us. But right now, it's about getting an easy group. Chelsea are drawn out. Let's see what group. Well, I think they only have one group to go into.
Can you remind me what was happening while, I was talking to Barcelona went somewhere? Where did Barcelona go?
So Chelsea have gone into Group B just quickly.
They went into Group B?
E. Chelsea have gone in with AC Milan. Interesting. Adrian G says, great draw. It's a good one so far for us. Big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate the support. And RAI, new channel member. Big yourself up, my
Big
man.
up
You always
RAI.
do on fan
Legend.
shows every Monday and Friday. Guys, let us know in the comments, are you ecstatic with the team, with the draw so far, Group D, Eintracht Frankfurt? And look, as much as it would be nice to go out to Amsterdam, I mean, avail of the local immunities, be a great time out there. It really would be. But at the end of the day, Jacko, I have no problems going to Frankfurt and ordering some Frankfurters and sitting there and slapping them up and get home. Frankfurt, I know they were decent last. Oh, Barcelona are in with Bayern.
Yeah, that's what happened, David. You know, while I was talking, that's what I was trying to ask. I was like, what happened? You know, while I was talking, I think that's what happened was, you know, Barcelona got drew with Bayern. That is hilarious. Just when Lewandowski thought he could leave, you know, his old club behind, you know, not have to deal with them any longer. That is hilarious. That is brilliant.
I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. Just give me 1 second. I'm not sure if this is a super sticker or not. So give me 1 second, RA. I'll just double check here. And we are about to go into pot C.
It's not by the looks of things. It's not by the looks of things, but big up, RA. I really do appreciate it, my man.
Big up, my man. If you were supposed to put any comment, just put it in the chat and we'll bring it up, brother. But really appreciate support, my man. You're top man. And Dark Song G, my man, you've got to be happy with Eintracht Frankfurt. Honestly, I tell you, everyone get a trip down to Aldi, get a trip down to Lidl, both German companies, get the Frankfurters or the hot dogs out, get the buns, maybe some sliced onion in there, bit of ketchup, and let's all have a fucking party. Absolutely love it. He says Lewandowski faces his former club in the group, which is a very, very good point. Jack, you know,
it's going to be spicy. I think actually Bayern are probably better this year, you know, maybe without Lewandowski. I know that sounds absolutely insane, but they do look like kind of a very different sort of threat. They've now had, you know, I think, you know, the defense, you know, kind of was improved, which I think was needed. You know, they could be, you know, too much for Barcelona. Xavi as well, Dave. You know, both times they came up against Barcelona really did struggle. You know, he kind of, you know, did get, you know, a bit of an embarrassment, you know, and so it'll be interesting. You know, Xavi has a much better team this time around, but, you know, Barcelona have a history, at least recently, of kind of struggling against Bayern. So that will be fascinating. I think
be very interesting. Very interesting. With pot 3 is underway. Just quickly, we can get Borussia Dortmund, Salzburg, Donetsk, Inter Milan, Napoli, Benfica, Sporting, or Bayer Leverkusen. So
Napoli.
Napoli. No, send them to anywhere else but Group D. We don't want them in there with our German counterparts. We want to keep them away from the sausages there.
They're a top team, especially with the way Kavica has been playing, the way, you know, Kim Min-jae has been playing, you know, that Napoli
know what
team.
You're going to get from them, you know?
I mean, Dave, they're also scoring goals right now. You know, that's been, you know, they've been kind of, you know, looking very scary this season, I must say, Napoli.
What group are Napoli going into?
Don't, please, don't do it. Oh, he's fumbling it as well, Dave. He's trying to slip it in. He's trying to slip in. Oh, it's Group A.
It's Group A. Oh, nice. That is like
Liverpool.
A very easy start to become group of depth.
Dave, just when Van Dijk thought, you know, he could have, you know, a bit of a break, he's going to be coming up against Kavica and all those skills. He's going to get absolutely tossed by Kavica. I swear, Dave. He's going to get torched by him. Kavica is just licking his lips, you know, thinking about Van Dijk right now.
Adrian Chia says, which pot is Arsenal in? Yeah, I think they have to wait till tomorrow for their pot, my man. I think they're in pot Z, I think, to be honest with you. Look, they're all at home absolutely crying their eyes off. In fact, they're probably having a snooze right now and that. They don't want to hear what's going on. They're sitting there crying their eyes out.
I don't want Salzburg, Dave. I don't want Salzburg either. You know, they have a good manager, I think. They have a good manager. Either.
The old lad says, food. You can't help it. No, look, when it comes to Germany, you probably think of Oktoberfest because you had the privilege of being there. I think of Frankfurters for Eintracht Frankfurt. That's where I'm at, the old lad. And then we have Rufus Roughcut, and he says, see you boys in Frankfurt. Big up, Rufus. Let me know. Are you going to go to that one
he's in Western Germany, Dave. He's in Western Germany. Not a easy trip over, I would say. Group E. Oh, it's close. That was close.
Who are they in with? Oh, Milan and Chelsea and Salzburg definitely have the potential to turn one of them over as well. They are capable of a scout. But Rufus, that's a nice draw for you all the way over in Germany, my man. Get the hot dogs on the barbecue. I am on my way over, sir. Big yourself.
Keep the grill hot, Rufus. Keep the grill hot. Keep the beers cold. We'll be seeing you in Frankfurt, my man.
I'm absolutely loving it. Washed down with a nice German beer as well. You know, that'd be absolutely unbelievable. Let's see
I
who
love that, Dave. Keep the
Benfica.
grill hot, Rufus. Keep the grill hot.
I think Benfica could only get F, G, or H, so that's Benfica gone, so that's perfect. They'll be going down to one of the bottom groups down there, so that'd be interesting. And then let's just see who is left in this pot after being drawn out. There's still Borussia Dortmund, Shakhtar Donetsk, Inter Milan, Sporting, or Leverkusen. Group H is where they are off to. So that is PSG, Juventus, and Benfica. That is bye-bye, Benfica. For sure, I definitely think so there. Dark Sun G says Korean Van Dijk versus the original Van Dijk. Cool, you Spurs.
Absolutely.
No doubt you're going to be watching that one, Dark Sun G. Just quickly,
let me know, Dark Sun G,
group?
if you saw his header. He had a fabulous header. He got his, debut goal, I believe, recently.
Borussia Dortmund are next out. Send them anywhere but Group D. D for David. It's so we don't want them in my group. But no, Dark Sun G, tough. I mean, I'd say you're going to absolutely love that, my man. You're going to be all over it. Big yourself up, brother.
They went to Group G, Borussia Dortmund.
Ooh. That's Sevilla. That's Sevilla gone, I reckon. But big up, Dark Sun G, brother. Really appreciate the support, my man. So some of the teams we don't want coming out of pot 3 are going elsewhere, which is very exciting. Yaya Toure picking up the pace here. Absolutely love it. Who's next out?
Leverkusen.
Leverkusen. Well,
they have a good attack.
Group D. We can't get them, so they can go into any other group bar Group D, which is
That's
interesting.
Right. Dave, we have to thank Frankfurt. Dave, we have to say vielen Dank. Because they're letting us avoid, Dortmund. They're letting us avoid all these teams.
Group D.
Dave, we have to be thankful for Frankfurt. Very nice of them.
Rufus Roughcut and all my German comrades, we will be out there, Spurs will be out there. Guten Tag. Guten Tag. And thank you, Eintracht Frankfurt. Let's see who's next out of the group. Who is it? Sporting. So they can't get Porto, so they can go into any group. But
they go into ours.
Let's have a look.
They're going to go into ours. They have a chance of going into ours here, Sporting. They have a good, Pedro Gonçalves. He's a very good player.
Give them C or D. Give them C.
They have a good manager as well, Sporting. I think they have a good manager.
Oh, no, they can't get ours, I don't think.
No, I think they can.
Who have they got? Don't give them D. I don't want them. Who's this curly-haired little photo pulling out?
It's going to be us. It's going to be us. That's us, Sporting!
So we have Sporting. Look, we should be beating them as well. Come on. This group is absolutely fantastic.
We get to go down to Lisbon. We get to go to Lisbon. Martin Walton. Hopefully Martin Walton gets to see his Spurs. Big up, my man. Nice little trip to Lisbon. Lisbon's a fun city, Dave.
Oh, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Do you know what, Jack? It'd be nice to get the 2-1, get a nice holiday over there while Spurs are over there.
Bit of free-flown attack from Frankfurt. Bit of free-flown attack from Frankfurt, and then, a bit of defensive football, from, Sporting, and then, both nice holidays away, and Sporting, Dave, a nice bit of, kind of some wine, and whatnot, after you kind of had all the beers and the sausages. So, it'd be nice, actually.
Jack, it's worked out in our favour. We wanted teams close to us. We didn't want to be travelling to Eastern Europe so far, and it has worked out in our favour. 2 nice ties there. Quick trick to Lisbon, get the 3 points, get out. Same to Frankfurt, get the 3 points and get out. And if you just look at that cockerel between the two crests, it just looks head and shoulders above everything. It looks like we're ready to get out of that group. We look like the biggest team in it, and that's all I ever wanted. Now,
Group C is the group of death, the official group of death. Inter Milan go into Group C. Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and Inter Milan.
Woo!
Wow. Dave,
quick point.
Initial thoughts. Who's getting out of this group?
Just quick point. Sporting. That's where we picked Eric Dyer up from. So Dyer will be returning to Portugal. But Group C, I fancy Inter and Bayern Munich. Barcelona are not the same. And then the owl lad, what he's saying here, whenever it comes up, he says, long time in Lisbon. I think more Amsterdam for that, my man. I think more Amsterdam for that. But look, maybe you've been up to something in Lisbon I haven't been up to. Maybe you know the tricks of the trade. But big yourself up. Oh, look, I'll be honest, I couldn't give a shit about any other group. It'd be nice to watch them, but I just care about what, and my God, it is going to plan. Everybody, give us the big boys. No, I said it. Give me the little boys. Let's get out of the group. And so far, it's working in our favor. Look, group, we have one pot left to go, and that pot is Rangers, Celtic, Copenhagen, Club Brugge, Zagreb, Maccabi Haifa, Marseille, and Victoria Pilsen as well.
You went Victoria Pilsen, Dave, and you said, you didn't want to travel, you didn't want to go to Eastern Europe. I must say, if we wanted to more, you would have more, sausages and beer, in the Czech Republic. So I would be worried, for Sim and Ben, maybe they'd have to worry about the waistline, a bit with all that, sausage and beer consumption. But Victoria Pilsen, I'm not really aware, of how good they are. I'm actually surprised they are in the Champions League. I think it does mean they're probably maybe a bit better than, your average Czech team, maybe you could say. At the same time, though, I think we probably want like a Club Brugge or, a Rangers or a Celtic here, Dave.
I'll be honest. Look, we've been lucky so far. Give me any of them. Give me any of them. I'll be honest.
We got to be greedy here, Dave, because, we're already looking at, the fact that Barcelona as well as Inter Milan are no longer to be in the tournament. That's going to be insane. Somebody in the group stage. Somebody in the group stage won't be there.
Hey, goodbye. Who have we got? Celtic are out. So they can't get A, B, C, or D. So they'll be in one of the bottom 4 groups. Interesting there. So let's see who they get. It's either E, F, G, or H. Let me have a quick look. I actually wouldn't mind Celtic getting out of the group. So I don't fancy them getting out of any of them, to be honest. So good luck to Celtic. My man, Arnie, I'm absolutely pumped. I'm buzzing. Look, we're back in the big time. It's where we belong. I was saying it last night. So long I've been watching Champions League.
2 Scottish teams in the Champions League as well, Dave.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Look, when I was growing up, they used to both be in it as well. So, the fact that they're both back in it is, well, not Rangers. It's good to see Celtic back in there. But my man, I am pumped because, look, it's just...
Wow, that's a lot of traveling, Group F.
It's where I want to be. I don't want Europa Conference League. I don't want Europa League where we're traveling to the butt arse of nowhere playing part-time electricians and getting shown up. We're back in the real deal, baby, the big time, the only one that really counts. It's nice to win the others, but this is where it counts. You test yourself against the best. Of course I'm pumped. Yeah, that was a slick pull out of the ball there. Let's see what happens. Who's it pulled out? And it's Olympic. Hey, don't want them. Doesn't look like we can get them either. Absolutely love that. It looks like we cannot get them. So they're going into E, F, G, or H as well. Absolutely love it. That's another one avoided. This is gone perfect. Who have we got? Who are they getting? Take the big boys out of that pot first. Give us
Group D. That's Dave. Marseille.
Couldn't get them. I'll take them. Fuck it. I thought we couldn't get them. I thought they ruled out Pot D. Fuck it. Well,
that's an interesting group there. Marseille is probably the toughest of the Group D or of that pot, I would say. I think Marseille is maybe the toughest, but I'll take it. I think it, not the worst of tests, maybe pretty medium group, I would say, Dave, if not an easy group, but they're kind of all kind of the same level, I would say, sort of these teams. It's kind of interesting. I would say they're all sort of kind of at a similar level.
If we're being honest, I don't think any of them have a patch on Tottenham Hotspur, if I'm being frankly honest. I think it's a very favourable group for us in terms of being able to do a lot of squad rotation, which benefits us. Like you look at Frankfurt, you look at maybe Sporting. Why can't you rotate a few players there if needed and still get the job done, in my opinion? So for me, with the favourable group, it now looks like we can compete in the Champions League, League Cup and Premier League all the way to November, barring injuries, which is absolutely unbelievable. Who's this next team drawing out? What group are they going to get?
Group
G. So who was it?
I think that's Club Brugge. Is that? Looks like Club Brugge. No, Copenhagen going to Group
Copenhagen.
G.
Well, they're gone. They're out. They don't stand a chance.
That's a tough one. That's a
who
tough
says one. If you're playing, if you're a relatively small pot 4 team, you'd dream of getting pot C. Maybe if you've no chance,
just to see the movie stars, just to see the movie stars on the pitch. Yeah.
But everybody, let us know in the chat. Are you happy with the draw? Are you happy with the group we have? Eintracht Frankfurt, Tottenham Hotspur, Sporting Lisbon, and Marseille. Let us know. Adrian Chia says chance to top the group. Jack, come on, you Spurs. You think we have a chance of topping this? We should really.
I think we should be getting at least 12 points, I think, from this group. I think 12 points minimum. It should be actually quite easy for us. We'd probably be able to even, rotate the squad, a bit for some of these games. I think it should be, that easy for us. We shouldn't have to worry, too much, about, managing, certain fixtures and whatnot. It's actually a very good, group for us just for that reason alone when it comes to squad management, as well.
I agree. For me, I think Club Brugge have gone into Group B, Jacko.
Yep.
For me, I really think we should be topping this group without any excuses whatsoever. I'm absolutely buzzing with the draw, my man. Big yourself up, Adrian. And look, like we keep saying, it's no long trips across Eastern Europe. It's all relatively close to us, which could also come in handy. And I will say, imagine being an Arsenal fan looking at the draw we're after getting, knowing that could be them. Imagine, they've got to be absolutely sick. Probably sitting crying on the couch to the missus, get me the thermometer, I feel the temperature coming on past the sick pan. It's absolutely ridiculous. That Son G says, this is the type of group I wanted, a middle level. Yeah, look,
yes,
I don't think anyone can be complaining. I really don't. Look, I wouldn't even call them middle level, to be honest. I think we've got the lower run teams in the Champions League, if I'm being honest, Jack.
Yeah, we definitely do. And I'm actually looking forward to, even doing a bit of research, on our teams, that we're coming up against, Dave. And, that's why I would say everybody do subscribe to this channel, because I'm pretty sure we'll have some pretty good research on all these teams. We'll be able to talk about who their danger men are, and probably, the best ways for Spurs to be able to, get that 4-0 win, walk out with a few Frankfurters and, go home. So definitely stick to this channel, everybody. I think we'll have some good previews for this game.
Definitely will. We definitely will. Big
what just happened? Who went to Group A?
Zagreb.
Thank you, Dave.
So big up. Georgie says,
I'm glad we avoided Zagreb as well, Dave.
Yeah.
I mean, Orsic, and, all those guys, just kind of, we're just cursed, and it's nice that we get to avoid them.
Well, Jack, just looking at our predictions, you got one team you want. Oh, no, you didn't get any teams you wanted. Sorry, you got one of the teams Marseille you didn't want.
I tried to be clever. Yeah, I tried to be clever with mine. At the end of the day, Frankfurt were probably my favorite choice, or my second favorite choice, so we can all take solace in that. Sporting, I'm really not too fussed by. I actually am happy that we're coming up against Sporting. I think that should be, an easy trip for us. And then Marseille, yeah, definitely not. I think that is the toughest.
Maybe I got it wrong, Jack.
It doesn't really matter, Dave. I think when it comes to that last pot, it doesn't really matter as much.
I think I might got it wrong, Jack. People are saying Rangers. Yeah, sorry. Dynamo Zagreb to Group E, Rangers to Group A. Sorry, Jacko. I set you wrong there. I set you up for failure, Jack. I'm sorry. It's not what
Rangers to Group A. Rangers to Group A. Celtic fans and Rangers fans. I would say Rangers have a better chance of probably making it out.
That Group A is not easy,
They're both tough. They're both tough. I would say they're both not happy, Rangers and, Celtic fans.
No, they're not. The Owl says, Marseille, the memories, get the tickets, we're going. Yeah, look, my old used to do a lot of interrailing around Europe back in the day when he was in his army years, in his stat. Used to do a lot of interrailing around Europe. Look, Owl, if you want to go, I'll try and make it happen for you, no problem. Might be an early Christmas present or something, but look, I mean, I'm absolutely buzzing. And the Owl holidays to France whenever he gets the opportunity of going on a holiday as well. He loves it. RAI says, I think this is a fair draw for us. Good to see David buzzing. I am Jack as well, too. Group C looks like an exciting one. Big up, RAI. Look, I mean, I'll be honest. If you can't get up for this, you wouldn't get up in a room with naked Kardashians. You just wouldn't. I mean, you got to get up for the Champions League draw. It's the biggest European competition there is. And the fact that I look at that group, I'm like, Frankfurt slapped. Lisbon should slap. Marseille should be slapping as well. Me, I'm absolutely happy. Top of the group. Be great for rotation. Don't have to travel too far. I can see us challenging on all fronts this year. And poor Victoria. I mean, they're not even going to pick up a point. But I don't care.
Guys.
Don't care. So, guys, there it is. The Champions League draw in full. Jack, would you like to go through it quickly, my man? Read it out.
Yep, let's read it out. Let me just, quick out, no longer have to, listen to all that trash, Dave, from the Wank Fest we heard earlier. Group A, Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli, Rangers. Quick predictions. I'm going to go Liverpool, Napoli, make it out. Group B, Dave, would you want to make a quick prediction there?
So Group A, I go with Liverpool. I'm going to go with Ajax to make it out. Group B,
Napoli.
I'll go with Atletico Madrid and Leverkusen.
Leverkusen and Atletico. I think I'd stick with you there. I'm going Bayern Inter on Group C. I always love, wishing for a Barcelona failure. So I'm going to go Bayern Inter. All their players have to be unregistered from the team. They no longer can afford them. I think that would be incredible. So Bayern Inter.
I'm with you. I don't see past Bayern or Inter there, Jacko.
I mean, Barca are going to be good. It is definitely true. Spurs, Marseille. I might go Spurs, Marseille here.
I think I'd go with Tottenham and Marseille as well, to be honest with you. I think we top the group. Marseille, Frankfurt battling out for second. I think Marseille might just get it.
No. Group E. This one's tough. I'm going to say Chelsea and Milan. But Salzburg, I just think they are like a tricky one. I think Salzburg are a tricky one.
They'll turn one of the teams over, but I don't think they'll be consistent enough to get out of the group.
True. RB Leipzig, Real Madrid for me.
It hurts seeing Celtic not get out. Yeah, I'd agree, Jack. I agree. I think Leipzig got too much for Celtic, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, definitely. Group G, Man City, Sevilla. I might say Man City, Sevilla. Sevilla know their way around these tournaments, Dave. They do. They find a way. They always seem to find a way. Yeah.
Fair point. But I'm going Man City, Dortmund for me, Jacko.
And then last, Juventus. Yeah, PSG. There you are, everybody.
Yeah, 100%. Juventus and PSG. But back to what RIA was saying, Jack, Group C, it looks like an exciting one.
Group C, I mean, it's definitely an exciting one. And then I think Spurs fans should be absolutely buzzing. Champions League nights, we can sort of kick back, relax, pop out, maybe a few German beers, and when we go to Portugal, have a bit of, nice Portuguese wine, as Jose would say. Then in France, maybe enjoy ourselves, have a baguette, maybe a bit of charcuterie, to the side. It's just going to be, kind of relaxing, I would say, for us RAI. And then we could actually, have the Spurs game on. And then we'll watch, after we see them, kind of smack whatever team they come up against. We get to say, oh, that's right. We get to see, Bayern and, Dortmund, or Bayern and, Barcelona tear each other apart. We get to see Inter Milan, playing these big games. I think it's actually quite nice. We get to see all of our rivals in the Champions League, all the big other names, kind of crumble, all the big names sort of struggle and claw, to get themselves out of the group. Well, we kind of have, a bit of an easy ride. It's actually quite nice, Dave. It's kind of like, walking, with the big, burning, fire, right behind you. We're sort of, blissfully ignorant, to what's, happening outside of us. It's quite lovely to see.
No, it's going to be a cracker for Champions League. That I cannot wait for. But look, I'll be honest, it'd be nice to watch the rest of groups, but I couldn't care what happens. I just care about our group. But big up, RAI. Group C is just
definitely... Spurs fans is what I mean. They just don't have to stress. They can just, they don't even have to be, too concerned about the Champions League. They really shouldn't be.
It's fantastic. And you look at all the groups, there's no bad groups, really. There's some mouth-watering ties there as well. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Kuva99 says Pilsen won the lottery. They must be buzzing. Look, in terms of revenue, they've got to be honest with you. They got to be. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they not turn over Barcelona before at the Nou Camp? Did they not win them or get a draw out there before? Or was it Ludogorets? But some little team went out to the Nou Camp before and done them in. So it'd be interesting to see if that can happen. The True 82 says, David, are you going to attend those away games? Look, I'll be honest, it's expensive. Away games are expensive. If I can get in and out of there within a day trip, I'll see what I can do. Maybe if I can't treat the outlet to maybe a Marseille one.
Frankfurt would be the cheapest, knowing the Germans. They do actually have cheaper tickets.
Yeah, but see, like what you don't see is all the hidden costs. Travel to and from the airport, boat ends.
No, I'm not saying they're flights, not saying it's not
all
expensive.
That sort of stuff. So it's not cheap, but I will definitely try to get one of the away ones. If I definitely will be doing one of the home ones for sure. I'm hoping there's a home one before the North London Derby on the 1st of October, and that will be the one I'll be looking to do. But big up True 82. Hopefully I will get there. It would be nice. In fact, let's start a fund for me. Help me get there. That would be nice. Dark G says, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll sample the local cuisine. Go to Portugal. They're famous for their custard tarts. What's it called? Pastel de nata. Custard tarts, they're famous for them. It's a real Portuguese dish. And then you go to Marseille, you can get frog's legs, eat some snails and wash down with a lovely ham and cheese baguette. And then on to Frankfurt for the hot dog if I have enough room left. That is absolutely ideal. Dark Sun G says the draws this week was great for us. Carabao Cup and Champions League. Come on, you Spurs. I mean, Jack, maybe the great Jimmy Green's looking down on us, the great Bill Nick, we have had luck on our side this week, and it's something Tottenham don't usually have.
I'm actually really excited about that Forest game, even because the Carabao Cup games, they sort of can be, really unexciting. And then, they end up, being a bit, kind of tougher than you would like them to be. And, coming up against Forest, I think that means, Spurs will have to take it seriously enough. Who knows? Probably Spence might come up against his old club, which I think would be kind of fun, to see as well. Forest, they had a pretty good, run in the cup last season. So they will take this seriously. It's actually just probably going to be a good game, but I still think Spurs did get a favorable, kind of fixture, like you said, Dark Sun G. But compared to maybe coming up against like a Cambridge or something like that, I think it's going to be, kind of an exciting game still nonetheless, which, I always like to see, especially for those cup games. And then when to the Champions League, I mean, who couldn't be happier, Dark Sun G? Probably the closest thing to the easiest. It's basically the easiest group you could have made up, maybe a few exceptions, in the case of Marseille. But once you're complaining about pot 4, you really shouldn't be complaining. So we're absolutely buzzing, Dark Sun G.
Look, I don't understand how anyone can come out of that and not be happy. If I'm being brutally realistic, lad, you've got to be happy. And someone says it here in the chat, Toure, I'll definitely go down. Elias, we will get to that, my man, but stop spamming the comments, but we will get to that. He says Cristiano Ronaldo is partly on the verge of joining the Sport in Lisbon. The deal is 99% done. The club will agree, will begin presentations and preparations tomorrow. Source caught offside. Look, it could be true. Caught offside is not one of the best sources out there, but there was links to it early in the window, and I do believe Cristiano Ronaldo actually does want to get out of United, and he did say he would go back to Sporting where he played, but we should still have enough to beat them, Ronaldo or no Ronaldo, if I'm being honest.
It doesn't really bother me.
No, but like someone said in the chat, Toure has already got to go down as a Tottenham legend, in the coaching staff, and pulls out a favourable draw. Absolutely.
I mean, the Arsenal fans are probably even wondering, maybe, Dave, we were the one that, slipped, the brown envelope, under the table to, by getting, Yaya to do the opening. Absolutely brilliant. We were thinking, Man City were the ones, paying off, UEFA. In fact, it was Spurs, it looks like, who got Yaya, to do that. That isn't allowed. It was brilliant. It was lovely to see.
Yeah. Big up, Dark Sun G. Really appreciate the support. Look, we're going to get a couple more comments in, and then we are going to end it here because we will be back at 9:30 tonight with some talking points. Might even be a few questions on the Champions League. We'll wait and see. But look, we'll take some comments, and then we will end off. Foggy Foam says, rival fans are crying. I mean, look, if you're an Arsenal fan, you've got to be gutted. You've just got to be missing out the way they did, being better at our place the way they did, and look at the group we got. They've got to be crying. Absolutely love that. Big up, Foggy Foam. King Huddle says, didn't Marseille win the European Cup in the dim and distant past? Look, we won a European Cup before all the way back in there, all the way back, my man.
Big club.
Yeah,
I'm kind of glad, they're all the same size. I think Sporting is a big club, Marseille is a big club, Eintracht's a big club, but they're all quite easy, teams to come up against. So it's going to be like good atmospheres, you imagine, but kind of easy opponents. If you understand that distinction, Dave, where I think the atmospheres will be, good test, for Spurs on those away games, but the team should be easy enough to beat.
No, they should be. Look, Marseille, they're not the same force they once were, in my opinion. Way off it, nowhere near it. For me, I'm not afraid of any of them whatsoever. Elias says, sorry for spam, but is it worrying for us? Look, first of all, I don't mind spamming if it comes to Tottenham stuff. Just anything bar Tottenham, do not spam the chat, because I'll be honest, and I state this time and time again, I could not give a flying shit what other teams do. I do not care about them whatsoever. Is it worrying for us? No. At the end of the day, I don't think so. Ronaldo is not the same player he once was. If they can provide him with the chances, then it might become worrying. But for me, I'm not worried about it. I mean, so all them players are going to be way off his level anyway. Way off his level. I think providing him the chances will be the hardest part, but I would not worry about whatsoever. I really wouldn't. Jack, would you?
No, I probably just make it more fun or more interesting, just to see, kind of, Ronaldo's, kind of, throwing up his arms in the air, when he doesn't get the pass, seeing him, complain to his teammates when we're smacking him 3-0, probably just make it actually more entertaining. I really couldn't care less with him going to Sporting. I think it'd just make it, more entertaining, I would say, if anything.
100%. It really would. Cuba99 says, have we ever played Olympic Marseille? I can't recall any competitive fixture in my lifetime. I don't recall one either, if I'm being honest. I do
How
not.
many
I
do we
do
even
not.
have against Frankfurt? How many do we even have against Frankfurt?
I don't. No, I don't recall any competitive fixtures, if I'm being honest. Dax.
Might be a lot of firsts. A lot of firsts, maybe.
Yeah, could be a first. And then we've got Dark Zone G says, imagine if the Gunners gets hard team in Europa. Yeah, that would be absolutely lovely. Look, I'll be honest. Whatever group they're in, they should really be getting out of it. They really will. And I think they will. If I'm being fair to them and I'm looking at them and analysing them this season, I think they will get out of it. But what I will say, playing in the rights of the Europa League where there's more games, more chances for them to pick up injuries. They're going to be playing against teams that when they look at Arsenal, that's their big fish that they want to fry. So they'll be up for it. They're going to hit them hard. So there's a lot more potential for injuries. And we know Thursday, Sunday, it's a very, very tough schedule to do. So it might even have an effect on their league form, which would be lovely.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for, exactly. And then Dark Sun G says, Blues got a group like a dice roll, hard or easy, sort of kind of tricky is what I would say, Dark Sun G. Dinamo Zagreb, they've given us a tough game. They also have, I think, a tough atmosphere, I would imagine, there. RB Salzburg, they do play a very attractive brand of football. I think their manager is actually one of those up-and-coming managers, by the looks of things. And they did lose some of their best players, but I think they will still be tricky. And then, AC Milan are a good team. And, of course, Serie A, champions. And they probably will be going into this Champions League campaign, maybe hoping to do a bit better than they did last time. So Dark Sun G, it's actually a tricky group, I would say, for them, for the Blues.
Yeah, look, with Chelsea, I mean, look, I've said this time and time, I think Salzburg, they're capable.
Yeah,
capable of a big scalp. They really are. It's not going to be easy, especially out there either. I do think Chelsea and AC Milan would get out. Look, but we know what happened out in Zagreb when we went out there. And it's not a nice place to go in September, October.
No.
It really is not. It's cold. It's going to be frosty. It's not easy. And look what they've done to us when we went out there. We thought the job was done, and it quite clearly wasn't. They ended up knocking us over. So what I will say, when I look at that group, it's probably the biggest group for potential banana skin, if I'm being honest with myself, Dark Sun G. Big yourself up, my man. Just quickly, True 82 says, last time we played Frankfurt was in the 1982 Cup Winners' Cup. So there you are, that bit of history for you.
Big up truth.
And Adrian Chia says, hope Gunners got to fly to Iceland and Cyprus, etc. Send them out to, Russia, out to Belarus, places like that. Deep, dark corners of Eastern Europe is where we want them to go. To clock up plenty of miles. In fact, it might actually work in their favor. They might clock up some free air miles come the summer for their holidays. But I want them clocking up as much miles.
We want as many layovers for the fans as possible. We want there to, be probably at least 3 layovers, for some of them where they have to fly to Frankfurt, then they got to fly to Russia, only to fly backwards, to another city. That's what we're looking for. Hopefully as well, the fans, in the opposing arenas, give them the best welcome, we can imagine. I really do hope that all those teams, in the Europa League kind of treat Arsenal the way that they sort of treated us, Dave, like their kind of Champions League final. I hope they give them tough games.
Do you know it's going to be great? And I'm probably going to be in there. As soon as that draw is made, I'm going to be in there spamming them. I cannot wait. I'm going to be in there winding them up in their chats. And it's going to be great seeing how excited they get over Europa League, John. You're like, guys, you're being drawn against a team from Belarus, one from Macedonia, one Irish team. Nothing to get excited about, but they'll all be dancing around and everything else. It's going to be comedy gold. I think that draws tomorrow, so it's going to be absolute comedy gold. But guys, we are going to love you and we're going to leave you, but it's only temporarily because we will be back at 9:30. I need to go off. I need to calm down a little. I'm so excited over that group. I'm absolutely buzzing with the group we've got. Just one more time. Eintracht Frankfurt, Tottenham, Sporting Lisbon.
And Marseille, Dave.
And Marseille. I forgot already. So how my brain works now. It's great to have Jackal here. But guys, we'll see you back at 9:30. Plenty of talking points to get to this evening. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you've also enjoyed this stream. Smash a like. Smash a subscribe. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have the company of you guys out there with this draw. Fellow Spurs fans. Absolutely brilliant. See you all back here at 9:30. Come on, you Spurs.
In contact we trust.